Ako माझा कपीत आहे. त्यांना
space astronomy, and I do see that when I do visit many of the interior places of the country, going to schools and colleges, there is so much of enthusiasm in learning and studying astronomy. They keep asking what are the institutes where we can study astronomy, etc. So it's a huge opportunity in the country, and we need to gear up and not only provide appropriate paths and mechanism, but then we also need to make sure that we can bring in the requisite resources for carrying on this activity. So in the end, it gives me great pleasure to inaugurate this symposium and wish all of you a great few days of interaction. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Shri Kiran Kumar ji, for your wishes to the society, as well as sharing your thoughts about the possible synergies between institutions and space. Next, we have the release of the Jantar Mantar booklet, and this booklet is titled Astronomical Endeavors of Savai Jai Singh, which is published by the Astronomical Society of India. The publication of this booklet is one of the activities in celebration of the Golden Jubilee of ASI, that is 50 years since its inception. The booklet celebrates the life and journey behind the Jantar Mantar observatories, and is the combined effect of the IDC School of Design, IIT Bombay, and the Astronomical Society of India. This book has been translated into 13 languages, including English and Hindi, by a number of astronomer volunteers. The ASI members involved in this endeavor include Professor Aniket Sule, Dr. Neeraj Ramanujan, Professor Divya Oberoi, and many other members, in addition to Ankit Bhandari, project engineer in IAU OAE Center, India. I now request Professor Aniket Sule to hand over the booklets to the dignitaries on stage, the President ASI, our chief guest, and Professor Joshi, Director IIT Indore, to release the printed Hindi and English booklets, the translations in other languages.
Yeah, but I don't see the volume which usually the volume of those three panel options. Those three dots, they give me the.
Okay, the other languages, yes. So this is the printed English and Hindi booklets. The translation in other languages, Assamese, Bangla, Gujarati, Kannada, Malayalam, Marathi, Punjabi, Sanskrit, Tamil, Telugu, and Urdu are freely available on the ASI website as PDFs, and we are formally releasing them as well. These printed booklets, they cost rupees 125 per copy, and these will be available from later today at the registration desk for sale to participants and other interested persons. The price includes the printing cost, and I would like to mention that ASI is not making any profit from the sale of these booklets. Okay, so I would now like to invite Professor Jasjeet Bagla, who is the chair of the Scientific Organizing Committee, to give an overview of the scientific program of the meeting.
Thank you, Sarita, and good morning to all of you, including Professor Nalikar and Mangala Nalikar, who have joined online. It's a pleasure to see them again after a very, very long time. The SOC has 14 members, so I'm essentially representing their collective thought in terms of how the program was put together. We had feedback from participants of the last meeting, which was a hybrid meeting held in IIT Roorkee. And one of the key points which came out in that feedback was that the program was very cramped and there was very little room for discussions on the sidelines or for breakout discussions. And we took that into account, and you will see that in the program we have about 4 hours for viewing posters and for breakout sessions and discussions. Looking at the demographics of our astronomy community in India, where most of the people are very, very young, and the median age is still somewhere in 30s, it's important to have a lot of room for discussions even in talks. So we have made a special request to all the speakers, including plenary speakers, that they should keep 20% of their time for discussion and only use 80% of their time for their own presentation, because it is in discussion that a lot of things come out. And we also come out of this passive consumption mode for the audience to a more interactive mode where new and novel points can come out. We have 16 invited talks. It's a mix of senior and younger people. And we have about 120 contributed presentations and 250 contributed posters. So a large number of presentations are being made overall. There are 2 dedicated sessions for poster viewing. I hope all of you will make use of them. This time we also have a parallel session for the promotion of for Public Outreach and Education Committee, POEC. So that becomes a 6th session. We realized while looking at the abstracts that had been received that there are some new areas, emerging areas, which were not that prominent a few years ago, but which are becoming bigger, and they need a place of their own. So we will look at how to recategorize the 5 broad categories in which we receive abstracts. So we definitely need something for exoplanets, and we definitely need something for compact objects and transients, which play a role in, which kind of can fit in many different situations. And therefore, we need to have an upgraded classification. Sarita also requested me to announce the shortlisted people for the KD Abhyankar Best Thesis Award. This time we had received 17 submissions. We had received 23 submissions, but 17 of them were eligible. And it was clear that it will be very hard to fit them in the main program and still have room for additional things. So we decided to have one online round of presentations. And we had, out of 17, 11 people participated in that round. 4 have been shortlisted for in-person presentations in this meeting. They are Gaurav Singh, Yash Bhargav, Sonu Tabita, and Aditya K. So I hope we will be seeing all 4 of them and listening to them in their presentations tomorrow. I would like to thank LOC, led by Abhirup, for making all the arrangements. In particular, arranging 6 different lecture halls for parallel sessions. That is not an easy ask when the teaching program and exams are going on in an educational institute. And thanks to the director, Professor Joshi, and their entire team. Thank you.
So next we have is the presidential address. So I now invite Professor Deepankar Banerjee, President ASI, to deliver the address. And I will request the delegates on the stage to kindly leave the dais so that we can have the presentation here. And be seated in the hall.
Good morning. It's a pleasure for me to give this address or speech. This is the first time from me. Guru Shishya Parampara is the key word for the way we grew up. And I see my guru in terms of ASI's activities is also at the front row. I was the secretary at that point of time. So we are following the legacy of our gurus and trying to take things forward. I will repeat what Sarita has mentioned in her comments also. So the society has actually completed its 50 years, and I think we started with a modest number, and we are really growing very fast. The objective of the society was designated as the promotion of astronomy and related branches of science in India, and now I see that how multidisciplinary nature is very much required for the growth of astronomy, and this is the right example that we are here in IIT to take this forward, how astronomy can link with just not physics or mathematics, but beyond that. Society's primary role was to organize scientific meetings and support the popularization of astronomy and other similar activities. I'd like to probably highlight in my presentation that how we are trying to go beyond this. So we are trying to increase the scope of our activities, trying to bring the community together so that, just not the annual meetings, but throughout the year, we could be little more effective. So first thing, in the 50-year celebrations, there was a committee constituted by the last, Executive Council, and we started working on this vision document. So the first question was, why another vision document? Because there was an effort from the Minister's office, and then, of course, ISRO also makes its own vision document. But as Sri Kiran Kumarji has pointed out, that ASI is probably a platform where we could try to reach out many more. So the collective vision of the Indian astronomy community was our mandate, and to identify the most compelling scientific questions, identify opportunities to work together. So I will try to emphasize this point during my presentation, that how we are trying to be more inclusive and trying to work together, just not with the astronomy community, but beyond that. The multidisciplinary nature is very, very important. And then strategize to enhance our global impact, our position in the global scenario in terms of different projects, our scientific output, our student, they are our strength. Just you have to share this with the, okay. So to strategize to enhance our global impact, first we have to do it with our national agencies, the funding agencies, and I'm really thankful again. Sri Kiran Kumarji has mentioned, in fact, incidentally, he was inaugurating a function many, many years back in Srinagar, Kashmir, when he was ISRO chairman and I was a secretary. Ajit was the president at that time. So I think from then on, we moved into this really, going out to a larger base. And the synergy between the ground and the space, thanks to, again, the visionaries in ISRO, has enabled us to go to the next steps. And then advocacy with the government and the funding agencies, thanks to, again, the people who are present here. They could carry out this global community, exercise to the funding agencies for a better implementation. There was also another element I would point out, that the PSA's document was primarily focusing on the mega science, programs. And ISRO normally, highlights the space program. And as we have heard now, very clearly the synergy between the ground and space, and not only the bigger facilities, but also the smaller facilities. The question is, what do we do with our existing 2-meter class or 4-meter class when the 30-meter class telescopes come? Still, these smaller telescopes can do a lot of, very significant impact. And that also needs to be done in a more coordinated fashion, rather than, just having individual institutions, their own programs, and so on. So 15 chapters were identified. We identified conveners and working group members. Also, I must point out, through the conveners and the working group members, we wanted to reach out to even larger and larger community, even postdocs who are abroad. And I'm very happy to note that there are a lot of young people who We hope that it will be back in India at some stage. They are contributing into this vision document, because at the end of the day, the vision should be set by the youngsters. So that's our motto. There were multiple online meetings, in-person meeting at ICTS. I will say briefly about that a little later. And the first draft of the many chapters are already ready. This is just the update, and awaiting inputs from few chapters. Just a very quick run through with the list of the chapters here. As we go, I will not read out all that, but you can see that we try to comprehensively cover all the fields. Of course, the title of the chapters sometimes is a difficult thing, because they're so interdisciplinary. Also, there are lots of overlap. So be aware that the people are contributing to multiple chapters. It is not that one is just only focusing on one chapter. Then these are new elements, or I would say more extensive element we want to include in the vision document is a really list of observing facilities. And as I indicated, it is important that small, medium, big, all types of facilities are adequately used. Again, I would probably make few statements here today. Often, when we were young students, we saw that the observational facilities, particularly in India in the terms of astronomy, was somewhat restricted to the institutions who maintain it, operate it. And only very few people who are aware of those facilities were able to access it. These are all national facilities. So I think the way we are looking at from a community side, and as you have seen now, we have new sets of institutions, IITs, ISARs. Is it necessary for all of them to build a telescope? In my opinion, it's not necessary. So the specialization lies still with the people who have built such facilities, and there could be newer people, collaborative efforts with other institutions. But the facilities has to be shared, whether it is hardware, whether it is software, whether it is manpower. I think the facility sharing is a need of the hour, and how transparently we do it. We are even talking about National Time Allocation Committee. See, there are time allocation committees for individual facilities, but is it possible to have an integrated time allocation committee for taking all the mid-size telescope? Because the science programs could be having some overlap. So then effectively we'll be able to utilize those facilities. Same thing applies to, computational facilities, techniques, data sciences, AI. Rather than building the same or developing the same, exercise at different centers, why don't we do things together and people be aware that such development is happening in one corner? Why don't we collaborate with them and then, work together? Human resource development, I will show you some exercise which we are doing. It's really, really very promising. But then again, when we build this human resource, they should also get access to the best resources. So to achieve that, we need an integration in terms of the facility management and facility access, data policies, data rights. And finally, of course, the connect to the society. And I will talk again later at length about, our other subcommittees who are engaged in, public outreach, education, the gender equity issues. So I think we have to connect with the society at large. And for that, our other subcommittee members are working hard, and they're also, working with the individual, public outreach wing of institutions, so that our efforts are collective. So you saw one example of even this booklet, which is released today, is just one example of, building resources as well. So this is the meeting which we had at ICTS Bangalore to kickstart the vision document preparation and to have our ideas, what should go in. And I'm really delighted to report that, there were about 113 participants. It was at a hybrid meeting. There were several talks and panel discussions. So the discussion meeting was to aid the preparation of the vision document by bringing together several key members of all the relevant working groups that were set up for the vision document. And again, we met a lot of young people into this meeting, and I think the younger people met us, and we had a really, really cordial sessions there. So session contained overview presentation, different working group. There were two panel discussions also in terms of the capacity building and the synergy with astronomy institutions in India. So as I indicated, in the vision document, we are actually trying to highlight the requirement of this and how we can work together. And I'm again very thankful that the directors of majority of the astronomy institutions were in person present in this meeting, including Jairam, who just took office a few days before. And that was really, really heartening, because unless the institution heads are talking to each other to facilitate, this exercise, it will not be so effective. And there will breakout sessions as well. This is the group picture taken there. Now we have received, inputs. 12 chapters of almost first draft is ready. And for each chapter, about 20 to 25 contributors. So you can see that, how many people are really already engaged in this exercise. The compilations are done, thanks again to Anupama for leading this with Divya and Sarita in the team. And as I mentioned, it's very important to have a continuation. So I'm really glad that the past Executive Council and the present Executive Council is working together to, complete some of the exercise which were already initiated last time around. As I mentioned, also, as a society, we are also trying to bring resources. Professor G. Srinivasan, we were all fortunate enough to have his lectures in person. But this generation may not get that, really privilege. So we requested Srini, we all fondly call him Srini, to, help us in preparation of this. And I'm really delighted. And I can see in Srini's style, there are 40 lectures, which are all now available online through our YouTube channels, and including the tutorial sessions. So there was, again, a large effort from Srini, Divya, and Sushan in this. Now, I will talk about a little bit about data about our membership, how many people are involved and so on. So as you see here, that typically not many people are enthusiastic about applying for membership. So this is something, what do you get as become a member? So I think as a first step, we had a differential, registration fee in this meeting, which probably will give them some, momentum. So we are growing, and this is the last 10 years growth. This is again last 8 years trend in terms of our participation in meetings. And as you see here, we also look at the statistics in terms of our gender balance. And typically it's about 200 around participation of male and about 100 female participants over the years. This is the current meetings, statistics or data. So we have 470 odd registered participants, and I'm sure there are a few more local participants, and again from media and so on. So typically we have 500 in-person participants here. This is about the professional status of the participants. As you see, how dominated it is by the youngsters. PhD students, 46%, postdocs, 11%, faculty members or scientists are about 24%. And we also have undergraduate and master students about 11%. So this is completely a new, I would say, pie we are getting into, because astronomy was not there in undergraduate program at all in the country. Masters, very limited, few individuals used to do it, but this is heartening that we are able to, because this is a annual meeting of professional astronomers, so there are technical discussions, but unless the technical discussions are in a level where the students who are already somewhat connected with astronomy, they don't attend. So it clearly gives an indication that there are undergraduate and master students they are already engaged in, because they have to have at least a poster abstract to attend this meeting. So that means they have some scientific output already. So I think this is a very good sign, and I am sure this pie is going to increase with time. Nature of participation, again, it is somewhat dominated by the centrally funded institutions, the astronomy institutes like IIA, ARIES, TFR, and the IITs and ISARs. This number is slowly coming up. The state-funded universities, again, as presence of astronomy department was very limited in state-funded universities. So I think we have to pay particular attention to this particular sector, how we can collaborate with our neighbors. I think Professor Joshi mentioned in the morning that it's, I think, a requirement from the primary institutions which are engaged in astronomy to sort of get the colleges and local universities, into some programs and collaborations. So we are, looking at that particular pie. Age group, I think this audience, 26 to 35% is the 49%, and then below 26 is 27%. So it's almost 75% of the population is under 35. And I think this is the strength of India. And these are professional astronomers. This is not, because this meeting is an annual meeting of the professional astronomers. So 75% of professional astronomers we have under the age of 35. So we really have to think about their future. We really have to think about their, mentoring. And so it's our responsibility. I'm slightly disappointed that this percentage is on the lower side. It is our responsibility also to participate in the annual meeting a little more actively. As I mentioned, the Guru Shishya Parampara can only, possible if the gurus are also actively participating in the exercise. So I think we will send a note to the directors to nominate or encourage their faculties to attend the annual meeting of the ASI. This is the geographic, distribution of participations, which is very healthy, and I'm very happy about it. But because, when in the early 90s, I think this was some pockets here, some pockets there, but not such a uniform distribution, thanks to the IITs and ISARs. And as you see here also, we have few, foreign participants as well. And I hope in future, we will really be able to increase that. Of course, after the pandemic, the momentum has just started, and this meeting may not be the right example, but I hope we'll do this. This is again another very important exercise called Young Astronomers Meet. It was there, and because of some funding issues and so on, it got sort of stopped for a few years, but thanks to, again, sponsorship from Sri Anand Deshpande of Persistent System, on both from his personal efforts, he has sponsored this program. ASI has taken up this responsibility to ensure that we have an annual Young Astronomers Meet. This meet is all done by the research scholars. This is organized by research scholars. They decide if they want to have any senior member in the audience or not, in terms of special lectures and so on. I'm happy that this was conducted at ARIES. These are some screenshots from there. As you can see that how vibrant they were. This is the geographic distributions of the participants as well. And as you could see here, again, the large pie is from institutions, but we ensured, or we requested the organizers that please pay a little more attention to the universities. The university students are also fully supported for this program, and that's 35%, which is encouraging. I also like to point out that the number of applications of PhD students wanted to attend this YAM was 300. And we had only accommodation possible about 60 in campus. So that essentially restricted the total number of participants, but they had hybrid. So a lot of people attended online. But this, again, a very promising, but again, demanding on our part to ensure that larger participation is possible in future meetings. Again, I think the younger generation have much more skills to do this outreach than us. And what we requested them that through YAM, every year you should also do some outreach activities. So this is again some screenshots to show how the YAM participants did go to neighboring schools. Apart from organizing certain events at ARI's Nainital campus, they also went to neighboring schools and they conducted some of these outreach activities, and it was very, very successful. Reaching out, as I said, by them, I think we heard about in the morning also how important it is to look after the students' aspirations in terms of their other interests. Our students are becoming best astrophotographers as well. So these are two pictures taken in our campus by our own students. So I'm just showcasing, in fact, my students who moved from Bangalore to ARI's with my move didn't have any aspirations for photography. And after reaching Nainital, they started this and they mastered this in last 3 years. So why I'm showing this is, their social and other interest, extracurricular interest. It's a society thing. So we hope in this meeting also we will have some of this. So again, I'm urging people to take membership. Even students who have published already 2 papers can become life member, refereed papers, but there are other membership categories available, life, student, associate, and institutional as well. So we'll be discussing about this membership fee later in the GBM. Last few minutes, I will again highlight how important it is to connect with the society through our outreach and education program. And I'm really thankful to the outreach committee. They're really, really doing a great job. Now we have Dibendu heading this outreach committee, and along with the other outreach members already designated by different institutions and other members even in the media. I think that they're doing a good job. And I really think that this is a very, very important exercise. And I think the website is very, very crucial. All the information, our entry point of contact is all in the website. And we have only one lady who is handling all this for over the years. Padma Shri, she must be here somewhere. And I think we have grown over the time, and lots of information is available. Please do give your feedback, how to improve this, how to disseminate the information from the community to the people at large. The other important committee is the gender equity, and Runima, she's the chair of this committee now, and we'll have their presentations in a later today as well. So again, my last but one slide, I would like to thank my colleagues in the Executive Council. We are trying our best to take up a new role. And as I said, apart from doing just the annual meetings, throughout the year, if we could contribute in progressing or connecting with the society at large is our motto now. Thank you for your attention, and you're most welcome to visit Devasthal, where this picture is taken from.
So, thank you, Professor Banerjee. We next move on to the very important activity of ASI, the awards. And I will also invite our chief guest to kindly come on stage, the dais, and be seated. We start with an award that is instituted very recently and is being given out for the first time by ASI, the ASI Govind Swarup Lifetime Achievement Award. And we are happy that Professor Narlikar has been able to join us online. So Professor Govind Swarup, FRS, widely regarded as the father of Indian radio astronomy, conceived of and led the construction of Ooty Radio Telescope and the Giant Meter Wave Radio Telescope, GMRT, using innovative, cost-effective ideas optimized for the Indian environment. He was a visionary and one of the strongest early proponents of the square kilometer array. The framework for science education institutes, which he developed and proposed along with Professor V.G. Bhide, has come to fruition in the form of ICERs, which have now been established across the country. This award, the Lifetime Achievement Award, was instituted to recognize senior scientists of eminence once in 2 years for their notable and important contributions to the areas of astronomy and astrophysics in the country. The award carries a cash prize of rupees 1.5 lakhs, funded by his family, Beena Swaroop, Anju and Rajiv Basu, and Vipin Swaroop, as well as a plaque and a citation. Support for the recipient's travel within India to the venue of the meeting and local hospitality during the period is met by the society. So the ASI Govind Swaroop Lifetime Achievement Award for the year 2022 is awarded to Professor Jayant V. Narlekar for his phenomenal contribution to the growth of astronomy and astrophysics in India. Professor Narlikar has brought to the fore very deep fundamental conundrums underlying physics in cosmology and explored their consequences throughout his illustrious career. He created and nurtured a very strong group on gravitation and cosmology, producing a generation of independent-minded scientific researchers who in turn have pushed at emerging frontiers. Professor Narlikar founded and admirably led a unique and successful experiment to stitch together frontier research communities, usually housed in research institutions in India, with the potential research community in the vast university sector that typically focus on teaching through the institution IUCA. In addition, Professor Narlikar's enormous contribution to science, communication, and popularization is highly acknowledged, as generations of youngsters have been brought up on his popular science and science fiction literature that have been well recognized in the literary community of India. So, as I mentioned earlier, Professor Narlikar is unable to travel to this meeting due to his health. He would have very much liked to be here. He did mention that. And thanks to digital medium, we do have him here. And Professor Dipankar, we have the citation, which of course is not here, but we can show it. And this is the citation which will be personally handed over to Professor Narlikar soon at his home in Pune. And yes, so President ASI, Professor Dipankar Banerjee has mentioned that he will personally be handing over this award to Professor Narlikar at his home soon. So now I will request Professor Narlikar to say a few words.
Sir, your mic is mute. Sir, your mic is mute.
And maybe I start. Can you hear me? Can you hear now?
Yes, ma'am. We are
Now
able
you
to hear
can
you.
talk. Okay, now you can talk.
Well, friends, I am indeed very happy and proud to accept this lifetime award. Especially as it carries the name of Govind Swaroop. For me, Govind was a source of inspiration as well as friendship. By his achievements, he demonstrated how a foreign trained scientist can bring his knowledge and experience, set up world class scientific institutes in India. Here he clearly adopted the design of the instrument, adapted the design of the instrument to Indian environment and local geography. While his research work was in radio astronomy, he was generally concerned with the question of how to attract bright students to science. I recall several discussions with Govind on his ideas on this question. He was an enthusiastic contributor to the brainstorming that eventually led to the creation of the Indian Institutions for Science Education and Research. Finally, I acknowledge my thanks to the Astronomical Society of India for thinking of me for this honor. I have been a member of the ASI right from the early days and have enjoyed interaction with the society on various occasions. I convey greetings to all ASI members on this occasion. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Narlikar, for sharing your experiences with Professor Swaroop, as well as for your wishes to the society. And thanks are also due to Dr. Mangala Narlikar, who has helped us immensely in having Professor Narlikar here with us. Yes, we next move on to the other awards.
अरविंदला देणार
We next have the Professor M.K. Venu Bappu Gold Medal. The Astronomical Society of India has instituted a fund in the memory of Professor Venu Bappu, who was an Indian astronomer known for the discovery of the Wilson-Bappu effect and was the first president of the ASI and the president of the International Astronomical Union. He laid the foundation of the modern astronomy and telescope facilities in India. The award was instituted with the objective to promote knowledge of astronomy and astrophysics and honor the contributions made by young scientists from any part of the world in the field of astronomy and astrophysics. So the Professor M.K. Venu Bappu Gold Medal Award of the Astronomical Society of India for the year 2022 is awarded to Dr. Eve Lee of McGill University, Canada. Dr. Lee is an expert in the field of exoplanet formation and has shown significant creativity in developing new models for explaining the unexpected diversity of exoplanets, from rocky planets to gas giants, discovered so far using fundamental physics and astrophysics. Her work has defined paths forward for the exoplanet community, motivating new theoretical and observational initiatives. She is responsible for coining the term super puffs for a rare class of exoplanets that are too voluminous for their small masses, 4 to Earth times the Earth radii and 2 to 6 times the Earth mass, and has provided for the first time a theory for their origin. Dr. Eve McLeay is awarded the 2022 ASI Venu Bappu Gold Medal in recognition of her exceptional work in the study of exoplanet formation, large number of refereed publications, and an excellent record of citations. So Dr. Lee is unable to come to the meeting due to other engagements, and we hope to hand over the award to her soon. So we move on to the next award now. Next we have the ASI Lakshmi Narayan and Nagalakshmi Modali Award. The award is known as the Lakshmi Narayan and Nagalakshmi Modali, named after Dr. Modali Sarma's parents. The award is given each year in recognition of outstanding Indian contribution to astronomy and astrophysics. The prize is bestowed on a person who, according to the ASI, has made conspicuously important and outstanding contributions to astronomy and astrophysics, fundamental and applied, in the particular field of endeavor, which is his or her specialization. The prize is awarded on the basis of contributions primarily made in India during the 5 years preceding the year of the prize. So the ASI Lakshmi Narayan and Nagalakshmi Modali Award for the year 2022 is awarded to Dr. Prateek Sharma, Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore. Dr. Sharma is recognized for his fundamental contributions to the understanding of multi-phase plasmas in the circumgalactic and medium and galaxy clusters. I invite Dr. Sharma, who is present here, to please come on stage and receive the award from Shri Kiran Kumar. So we move on to the next award, which is the ASI Zubin Kembhavi Award. The Astronomical Society of India has instituted the Zubin Kembhavi Award, funded by Ajit and Asha Kembhavi. The objective is to promote observational and instrumentation work in astronomy and allied fields. And secondly, and the alternate field is public outreach and education in astronomy and allied fields. Zubin Kembhavi, 34 years of age, is the younger son of Major Rajiv and Shashmita Kembhavi. He has a brother and 3 cousins who are all at the top of their chosen professions. Zubin is probably the most gifted among the 5, but because of his extreme physical disability, he has not been able to translate his gifts to achievements. He spends his time in listening to music, in contemplation, and on occasional long drives. His father and brother take him on. He has been attending a special school which he likes very much and has adapted remarkably well to online sessions made necessary by the pandemic. Ajit and Asha Kembhavi have set up the ASI Zubin Kembhavi Award as a tribute to him. The ASI Zubin Kembhavi Award for the year 2022 is awarded to Shri Arvind Paranjpe, Nehru Planetarium, Mumbai, for his contribution towards both the development of low-cost instrumentation and organizing of outreach events over many decades when the outreach activities were just being initiated. He has traveled a lot within the country to popularize astronomy in several regions and has contributed greatly to taking astronomy to rural schools by means of communicating in local vernacular language, Marathi, in Maharashtra. I invite Shri Paranjpe, who is present here, to please come on stage and receive the award from Shri Kiran Kumarji. Thank you. I would like to mention that there will be talks by Dr. Prateek Sharma and Shri Paranjpe in the next session today. And the next award is the Justice Oak Award. The Society gives the Justice V.G. Oak Award for outstanding PhD thesis in astronomy by an Indian student. The objectives of the award is to encourage excellence among research scholars in India, and the award is given on education by a standing committee appointed by the ASI. The award was instituted in the year 2002. The Justice Oak Outstanding Thesis Award for 2022 is awarded to Dr. Barnali Das for her PhD work in coherent electron cyclotron maser emission from hot magnetic stars. She is presently at Delaware University, USA. She did her PhD under the supervision of Professor Poonam Chandra from NCRA. So Dr. Barnali is also unable to attend the meeting, and the award will be handed over to her soon. And finally, we come to the Young Astronomer Award for the best publication. The aim of this award, instituted by the Astronomical Society of India, is to motivate young scientists to make outstanding research contributions in any aspect of astronomy, astrophysics, and to publish them, the results in a refereed journal of astronomy and astrophysics. The award, when initially instituted, was given to the paper published in Bulletin of Astronomical Society of India. And subsequent to the merger with JAA, the ASI has decided to give this in any approved, in any journal, refereed journal of astronomy, astrophysics. So the Young Astronomer Award for the best publication for the year 2022 is awarded to Chirag Chawla, Tata Institute of Fundamental Research, for the paper Gaia may detect hundreds of well-characterized stellar black holes, published in the Astrophysical Journal in 2022. So may I invite Chirag Chawla to please come on stage and receive the award. And I request Shri Kiran Kumar ji to please hand over the citation. We also have two awardees for honorable mention for this award. The Young Astronomer Award. The other two honorable mentions are Harsh Kumar and Anshuman Borgohain. So the Young Astronomer Award for the best publication honorable mention year 2022 is awarded to Harsh Kumar, Indian Institute of Technology, Bombay, for the paper India's Robotic Eye for Time Domain Astrophysics, the Growth India Telescope, published in the Astronomical Journal 2022. If Harsh Kumar, if he's here, yes, please come on stage and receive the award. Sorry. So the other awardee is Anshuman Borgohain, and he is given the award for the paper Extended Far Ultraviolet Emission in Distant Dwarf Galaxies, which is published in the journal Nature. Anshuman is unable to be here today due to some emergency, and we will be sending the award to him. With this, we conclude the award session. But before that, I think it is my duty on behalf of ASI to thank the jury chairs and all the jury members for their time and efforts in selecting the awardees and helping ASI with this very important activity. With this, we come to the close of the inaugural session. I now invite Professor Abhirup Datta to deliver the vote of thanks.
Good morning, everyone. So we're coming close to the end of this inaugural session. It's customary to thank everyone, particularly the people on the dignitaries on dais. Shri Kiran Kumar, the chief guest, Professor Dipankar Banerjee, Professor Sarita Vig, Professor Jazid Bagla. Also, along with them, there are lots of other dignitaries also sitting over here, particularly Professor Bob Kishner from TMT, Professor Annapurni Subramaniam, Professor Yashwant Gupta, and also Professor Anupama, who is former ASI president, and many others, if I miss anybody. The list is long. Before we end today, it is also important to thank the sponsors of this event. It's a huge event. As you have seen, heard from Sarita, that the registration has gone up significantly. So it takes support to organize such an event. We are gracious to Professor Suhas Joshi, who allowed us to use all the facilities on campus. We have been able to accommodate about 120 students on campus. and about 60 other postdocs, students, and faculty members on board. But many of you are actually staying outside. Apologies for that, because we don't have enough rooms available inside campus to host all of you. Someday, it will also happen. So we thank the IIT community to allowing us to host this huge event here, but also along with that, mention to institutes like ARIES, IIA, NCRA, TIFR, ISAR Kolkata, ISAR Tirupati, ISRO, AYUCA, and RRI, who also have a huge support in organizing this. Thanks to all of them. And yeah, also for the registration, and last but not the least, all the delegates who are here and registered for this conference. Thanks to all of you. I hope it will be a very fruitful conference, and you will also enjoy staying and interacting with others on campus. If, as Professor Joshi already mentioned, if all of you like, we will try to have a morning walkathon inside the campus, people who are particularly staying. Apologies who people who are not staying in campus, it cannot be organized afterwards. So yeah, we'll take that and try to arrange that. So enjoy your stay. We'll see you around. Thanks. The group photo will be just outside. So please follow the volunteers and they will lead you to. As you go outside the auditorium, turn towards your right. Okay. Near the big pool. Okay. So please join us for the group photo. It's important. Thanks. Thank you.
It's about tea here, and they have to assemble back at 11:50.
Oh, it's tight schedule. So after the group photo, there will be tea break, and then assemble here at 11:40?
11:50.
50. Okay.
11:45.
Okay, 45. 11:45. Please.
So the speakers, if you have not already given in